Hi, my name's Sheldon Nesda. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about co-working. So there's first thing you need to know is that there's 5 co-working spaces in Tauranga, and I'm sure that number's destined to increase. So we've got 2 over at Mount Wanganui, one's called The Junction, one's called 6 Tawa. Over in Central City we've got 3, we've got 4. Ignition, Studio 64 and 64-bit, and Base Station. So just to tell you a little bit about each one, over at Mount Wanganui, 6 Tower and The Junction, pretty similar size, not too far away from each other, about 100 square metres, so quite happily accommodate 4 to 8 people or so for each one of those. Over in the Central City we've got Ignition, so that's quite a big space, 300 or so square metres, can easily hold 40 people, and quite a few kind of meeting rooms and very modern space there down on ground level. Over in Devonport Road we've got kind of a duo, so Studio 64 and 64-bit. They're a mirror image of each other. They're about 100 square metres each, quite happily take 6 people at each place, so there's 12, accommodate for 12 people there. And then last but not least is Base Station, so that's the biggest and newest in Tauranga, and one of the newest in New Zealand actually, 700 square metres. So easily accommodate 40 to 50 people, and with various kind of meeting spaces as well. So just a bit more about my story. So I was in Studio 64 for 2 years, and now I've just recently moved to Base Station, just this week actually. And so going right back to my kind of story is that I set up my business almost 6 years ago, and quite happily working from home for the first 3 years. And towards the end of that period I was kicked out of the house because my youngest son was born and took that office space, and so I got a portable cabin onto the back lawn, and that did okay for about 9 months or so. But what happened was we had a storm and it lasted 3 days, so here I was in my cabin and it was just pitch black every day and night, you know, and I had all the lights on. And on the one hand, I was very much connected to the world, you know, with free text messages and Skype and email and Facebook and LinkedIn and phone calls and all that kind of stuff. But without that face-to-face contact, I became quite lonely. And so I was running a weekly breakfast club at the time, so talking about it at the breakfast club there, and quite a few of the people there thought, yeah, let's actually set this up. Let's actually set up a co-working space. So we literally got out of that breakfast, walked up the road, saw a spot that one of the co-founders was quite keen on. We called up the real estate agent, and he was touring us through it 45 minutes later, and we fell in love with the place. And that was my home for 2 years. That was Studio 64. And so since then I've moved into the Base Station. So this is a brand new fit out, very nice fit out, and plenty of room for new people to come along. Now, my kind of message to you is that rather than just pick from the 6 co-working spaces I've talked to you about and researching the price and all that kind of stuff, I suggest you actually visit and do a tour of each one, just to kind of get a feel for what your needs are, what the kind of, especially the culture and the people that are already in there, and how you kind of fit in. And you'll find your home pretty quickly, and you'll know that some spaces are not for you and others are. And so budget is one thing, but the culture is a major part of that. So probably the only other thing I want to tell you about is that I love co-working spaces because it's got that social element. You've got that camaraderie, you've got somebody to bounce ideas off. You might be a solo business owner like myself, but it's always great to have input from other people. So you tell your stories or about your clients or your projects that you're working on, you know, during the coffee breaks or lunchtime breaks or something, and there's always somebody with a few ideas that can chuck into that, and what goes around comes around. Same thing, they're telling you about their projects, and you've always got a couple of ideas you can throw their way as well. So I mean, you can't underestimate the value of that kind of input. I think it's just enormously valuable. So just a big fan of co-working, and if you're at home right now and you're kind of coming to the end of that period in your life, I think it might be time for you to suss out co-working spaces. So do a tour of whatever city you're in if you're not in Tauranga. Find out the co-working spaces and go and visit those. And if you're in Tauranga, certainly visit the 6 that I've mentioned before and find out which one's your home. Probably one other thing I wanted to tell you is that my interest extended to a bit of research. I went up to Auckland and there was I think there were 6 co-working spaces at the time, and I called them all up like the week before and set up appointments, and they were all very happy for me to do a tour, and I toured all 6 in one day, and I was just really impressed with the variety of setups and layouts, and also the culture as well. So it's really exciting type of office space, and it's really destined to grow all around the world. So all the best to you. If co-working is your next thing, you know where to go. Cheers.